On Rend, there are a few completely safe locations to kill any entity that are hidden in plain sight. I'll be going over where they are and how to utilize them. The first area of interest is in the middle of the map, just behind the cabin. This area highlighted in green has no nav mesh, meaning entities are unable to walk there. Here's how it looks with the nav mesh visualizer enabled. The second area is just outside fire exit in this little corner behind the Sigurd log. Although it does have nav mesh, entities still can't path there because it's separated by these bits on the side. Since it's so close to main entrance, you can easily get rid of a dog or giant that's been camping the door, and since it's also within running distance of most of the map, you shouldn't have much trouble luring an enemy here in general. Here's a couple circles. The inner one is the distance you can run approximately to make it to the cabin while holding a shovel, and the outer circle is the distance you can approximately run from to make it to the cabin without a shovel, or with 0 pounds. Once you're there though, here's how to deal with the monsters. By the way, I'm going to turn on the fog here so it'll be like what you actually see in game, but for killing giants on the left side of the cabin, it's as simple as waiting until they walk as far towards you as they can. At this point, a good landmark to follow is this tree right here. Just crouch to the left of it and you can safely smack the giant. Just make sure not to uncrouch though, because its hand is right above you and will grab you. Also, I recommend using a knife if you have one, because it is much faster at killing giants than shovels, obviously. As for the right side of the cabin near the light poles, you'll once again need to be crouched, and the landmark to follow this time is to stay just behind this window, since that's exactly where its hitbox ends. From there, it is once again safe to smack. I should also mention, in the event that you leave main entrance with very little or no stamina with a giant camping the door, you can still easily survive. Entities aren't able to walk off this part of the platform and have to path the long way around, so hopping between the platform and the snow is a good way to regain stamina before making the run to safety. For Eyeless Dawgs, it's a bit different and doesn't matter which side you're coming from. First step is to aggravate it and head behind the cabin with your weapon. Then, with the dog nearby, jump up on the cabin's foundation and keep hitting the wall while crouched to make it path inside and poke its head through the wall. Be careful to not stand in front of the window, because that is not considered a solid wall and you'll get killed right through it. Standing next to the window can be okay and is likely safe with just one dog, but if you have multiple here, they may push each other around and hit you at a pretty nasty angle. So basically, just to be 100% safe, stay crouched. It's rather unlikely you'll encounter anything in the fire exit pit besides maybe a giant, so let's focus on that. Similarly to before, you just want to wait until it finishes walking as far as it can go up to this corner here. It'll be inching at you much slower than at the cabin, so I once again recommend having a knife to reduce the time lost by killing it. If using a shovel though, you can smack its hand a few times before it's fully done walking, so long as it's facing the right way. In the case of a dog being down here, it's best to deal with similarly to the giant. Wait for it to get as close as possible, then attack it from the front. Dogs can move pretty unpredictably though, so they could suddenly rush forward or just sit there and do nothing. It's also possible to hit it from the top by going on this slope, but if you're too low and the dog decides to turn, you could easily die. The perfect height here seems to be kind of precise, so it's probably not worth going for it generally. I'll also briefly mention some other entities for future-proofing and or modded play. If for some reason you really need to, you can deal with masked the same way as forest giants. They'll just be a bit farther away because their hitbox is smaller. In older versions with Earth Leviathans, you can use the cabin to get away from them pretty easily. I can't recommend this for old birds unless you're just making a quick escape, because they can still shoot you behind the cabin. Also, they can land on you from flying, but with the amount of cover there is, you really have to intentionally be seen for this to happen. The giant sapsucker can be dealt with similarly to an eyeless dog. After taking an egg, you just wait for it to aggro, sit on the foundation, and beat it to death. For Maneater, you should leave the shovel here beforehand, then bring the baby over and let it transform. It should get stuck in this rock for long enough to kill it, but otherwise just treat it like a very angry giant, I guess. I don't have much else to say that's interesting about this besides the sole fact that anything spawned in this area is unable to get out. That's why I call this place the Cradle. You can keep a Maneater here, though it would teleport after losing sight of you for long enough, or you could even put on a mask to lock yourself in the Cradle. So cozy. Something I like to do with the Cradle is spawn a ridiculous amount of entities in it and watch them conglomerate into one. So let's just see what happens if I put, I don't know, maybe like a a couple giants in the pit, in the cradle. It's so beautiful. You can't even tell what it is. It looks like a wood chipper made of wood chips. But then... the inferno arises.